from the beginning. Sorry about that. You're welcome to this webinar being organized by the Delta State Ministry of Environment, of which I'm the permanent secretary, and the National Medical Women's Association of Nigeria, of which I'm the national president. And here in our midst, we have Mr. Chibuikem Yala, our guest speaker. He is a consummate hospitality and tourism events expert whose passion and diligence is deeply expressed via his committed contributions towards the growth of the industry in Nigeria. He is the principal partner / managing director, Sustainable Ecosystem, a firm that provides superior consultancy, pre-opening management, training, development for hospitality businesses with focus on hospitality excellence. As a MICE is meetings, conferences, and events leader, he is the founder of International Hospitality, Tourism, and Eco-Sustainability Forum. A MICE-focused annual hospitality leadership event that holds in Abuja. In addition, he's the co-founder of Ofowere International Food and Beverage Festival. He speaks regularly on business development, hospitality, and tourism advocacy on local and international platforms. In 2019, he won the top 100 tourism influencers in Nigeria, a member of the Tourism 100 Club. He is a member of the Institute of Hospitality. He is a member of the Institute of Hospitality, United Kingdom, Nigeria, International Branch, as well as member of the Association of Tourism and Hospitality Consultants of Nigeria, ASCON. He's a green enthusiast and author, The Realities of Climate Change. He is married to a delectable wife, Oge. They both have a beautiful son, Daniel. Mr. Diala, I hope you are still with us. I would like to know if you have slides to share so that you can start sharing them. And once we have a minimum number of participants, we will take off. Thank you so much and welcome everyone to this event.
Good morning, Ma. Good morning, everyone. I have slides to share. Yes, very shortly.
So you can share because I'm a co-host. You can go ahead and share your screen.
Yeah, shortly. The laptop is getting ready to come on with that. So
okay, all right.
Thank you. Am I supposed to start immediately?
No, we'll just wait for a few minutes. Yes, we're waiting for a few minutes, okay, but fine. It's better that the slide is already there before you start. So yes, that's why.
Yes. Okay, I will share it shortly. Okay, thank you. Oh God, oh no. Please come on. I was going to send that into your email. Is it the best thing to do? Or should I, do you have a flash? Because it's on PDF. I have to share it. I'm waiting for me to share. We can connect. So I should, your Wi-Fi on? Connect to my Wi-Fi. I just hope it's strong, but just go ahead because you need, we'll use your system directly now. What do you want? Where is your flash? Do you have a flash? WhatsApp. Okay, let me see.
Okay, Mr. Diala, I think we can start. We have enough people to start, and I'm sure with time people will join. So I don't know the situation with the slides. Are you able to share now?
Yeah, Doc, can you make me a co-host on the other laptop? I just logged on.
Okay, I'll do that now. Okay.
You've seen the...
Yeah, I've done that now.
Okay, ma. Is he not meeting? Okay.
Once again, I would like to welcome all of our participants to this webinar organized by the Delta State Ministry of Environment in collaboration with Medical Women's Association of Nigeria. Today, our guest speaker is Mr. Chukwubuikem Diala, and he's going to be talking to us on etiquette for hosting events with VIPs. So sit tight, we're about to start. Once he starts, he has been able to share his slide, we will take off.
Hello?
We can hear you, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, fine. Can you hear me with this?
We are hearing you very well. Please go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. They are muted, so they can't answer.
Okay, fine, thank you. I wish I could just hear their voice a little. My name is Chukwubuikem Diala, and I work for Sustainable Ecosystems. We'll be, please, just 1 minute. 1 minute.
What's the video?
Is it? No, it should be there. Okay, fine. Okay. Like I said, my name is Chukwubuikem Diala, and I work for Sustainable Ecosystem. I want to welcome everybody to this webinar, and we're going to be talking about the best practices in the hospitality, in hosting a VIP. Actually, my team, as instructed by the PAMSEC, was talking about the etiquettes. When I looked at that definition, and I felt that the best thing to do was to look at it from the point of view of successfully hosting a VIP. And that's why I rephrased it and I said best practices in hosting a VIP event. And thank you everyone for coming. I want to appreciate the doctor herself and then every member of the Women in Hospitality, Women in Medical Women Association of Nigeria, as well as the Delta State Ministry of Environment. Welcome everyone. Now, the question we usually ask ourselves is, what's an event and who is the VIP? And I have come to realize in over 15 to 18 years of doing series of events, both failed events and very successful events, I've realized that every event is a VIP event. Every event from beginning to end is a VIP event. What matters is, what is your definition of that event? What is your definition of that? What is your definition of that event? Now, primarily speaking, I see event as a project management. Just like we said to do a building, the Bible will ask you, can one start a house, a building, without first counting the cost? That's the biblical perspective of what an event is. The building, to me, is an event, from the planning stage to the design stage to the acquisition of land, preparations, DPC, till the roofing stage. All these are processes that are carefully planned. Oftentimes, we go into an event without realizing that an event is a massive project that has to be done. In fact, that's why you have a BSc in event management. We won't have a BSc in event management if it were not to be a very serious, aspect of our life. Now, the application of a project management to the creation and development of large, this is wiki definition. I added all small scale events. So to host a VIP or to host anybody, there must be an event. Whether it's a small event for 10 people or an event that has to involve 500 to more thousands of people. So it depends on the skill. So the application of project management ideas, the processes, the procedures are very important. So a thing that happens or takes place, especially one of importance, it can be a birthday, it can be a wedding ceremony, it can be an annual AGM or whatever it is, or a planned public or social occasion. For instance, the governor of a state is going to commission a project, or the president of the Medical Women Association of Nigeria is visiting 10 states in the Southwest, for instance. That's a major event, and each of those visits involves a project, involves planning, involves a delivery. Of course, I'm taking you guys through a few lines here. It could be a wedding, it could be a night out of town, it could be a bonfire night, it could be a burial ceremony. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, okay. We can.
Thank you. So I just wanted us to have that consensus that in any event, people are important. And the reasons we do events are for people, for places, or for ideas. Whatever we're trying to sell is very critical. So for instance, we just launched what we call the Ofowere. The internet is unstable. We just launched what we call the Ofowere, food and beverage festival. The question is, what is this brand? What is Ofowere? What is this food and beverage festival? Is an idea. For instance, the Medical Women Association of Nigeria, they are trying to launch a COVID-19 intervention scheme for the Southeast. So what is that brand that they are trying to project? Is it to do an activity because we are women in medical field, or we want to show charity? What is the definition? So you must understand the brand of the women in the Medical Women Association of Nigeria, or the Ministry of Environment, as the case may be. What is it that they're trying to pursue? Who are they? What are they pursuing? And why are they pursuing that? So the event organizer, I'm speaking to all of you as event organizers. So you as an event organizer, how do you understand this project we are pursuing from the perspective of the client and from the perspective of the event itself? Now, identifying the event focus. What is it focused on? What is the event?
Okay.
Okay. So, what is the event focus? Can they mute that voice, please? Okay. Now, who are the target audience? Oftentimes, we forget that there's a target audience because what makes a VIP event successful is these elements. What is the event focus and who are the audience? You can't have a VIP event without an audience. Imagine inviting the governor for an event at the Ministry of Environment and there's nobody there. I mean, I'm telling you, to be like one of the biggest disasters. You don't have, you're supposed to have 30 people in that hall and you find only 5 people. You can't say it's a successful event. What makes a VIP event is also the fact that there are people who are participating in that event. So you must identify the event focus. You must identify who your target audience is. I'll give you an example. In 2011, I did my first book on climate change. And I spent 800,000 naira, 2011, 800,000 naira at Nero's Hotel. I'm not talking about somewhere, at Nero's Hotel. I was a lot younger. I was exploratory. I had ideas. I printed my book. My book then, I was printed with about 300,000 naira to print a few copies. Now, in that event, I paid for the hall. I had a dinner. I invited Toyosia Kerele from Lagos. I flew her in and I flew her back. I got her accommodation. Colonel Kuchime was invited as chairman of that event. Now, a lot more people, I remember the former PS of Environment, Sadu was there. Former head of service, Ophili, was also there, and a few other guys. But I can tell you, that hall was planned for 200 people. That evening, we had 50 people. And for me, it was a big disaster. For a project, I spent 800,000 just for the launch alone. I got in that hall that day, 19,000 naira. Then I got pledges of about 100,000 naira. Now, as a businessman, you can consider that as a total loss. Now, as an event organizer, you can consider it as a total loss. But as a passionate person, as an ideas person, I saw that as a success because I was able to launch my book and I had 1 or 2 VVIPs present. But looking at it from the perspective of event organizer, of meeting the audience needs, of meeting the total number of audience expected, at least I should have had 100 or 150 in that hall that day because I prepared for 200 people, dinner for 200 people, including gifts and other things. So it was a total financial loss. So do you want to do your event and lose? What was our challenge? What was a problem? We had a focus on people who wanted to attend, but we could not successfully bring them to that venue. Of course, that's 10 years ago. We've gone ahead to host other events that are very successful, including ITEF. ITEF now hosts, in fact, a few years later, we hold another event in that Rose. And I had the deputy governor come for that event. And I had the hall filled to the brim. Over 200 people were in that hall. Over 300 people were in that hall, in that same event, in that same hall a few years later. So we were able to correct our mistakes. We met with the VIPs that attended, and we also met with the audience that attended, as well as we met with the successful definition and delivery of the expectations of that particular project. So that's, I've used my own personal example to, justify that. What is devising the event concept? There are no 2 events that are the same. You can't have 2 events that are the same. We often make a mistake and thinking that we have organized an AGM last year. We organized a national, there's what they call National Council on Agriculture, for instance, or National Council on Environment. We did it in Delta last year. We're doing it in Enugu next year. That you did it in Delta last year, and it does not mean it's the same event. Yes, it's the same ministry. It's the same participants most likely, but your approach to that event can turn it around. Your approach, is it a birthday party you're doing? Last 2 weeks, we did an event for Inimo, for a judge of the High Court of Imo State. And the judge approached us and said, look, we have been doing these things for this man, but we want it different this time around. Now they called us. First of all, the choice of venue, the ambience of the venue, the context changed, the design of the menu changed. You understand? The guests we invited changed. And then the experience also changed. I can tell you that I was an organizer. It wasn't my project, but I was an organizer. But the owner of that event, who is a top-rated judge here, had to invite me over to thank me especially for that. What did we just do simple? We made sure that the event he had last year was different from this year's event. We made sure that every person that was in that event, there were just 22 people in that venue. They don't dance before, but we make them dance. They just come and eat and go. We turn that around. So that's about devising the concept of the event. What is the concept? This Becky, just shut down, please. Becky, please, can you just shut down your audio, mute your audio. Now, planning the logistics, because I've learned something from experience. You have issues with your logistics with a VIP event because it's not an all-man event. It's not an all-commerce event. It's not an all-size fit event. What logistics are you supposed to use? Where are they coming from? Most times we hand over this kind of assignment to people who are not competent. Let me assume I'm talking to ministry people. Most times you could say, okay, Mr. Obi, handle this because your department looks like it is the department that handles it. Or Ms. Amaka, because you're in welfare. Okay, Emeka, because you're in socials. Yes, those are good things. But the question is, Emeka and Amaka, Michael, Esievo, whoever that is in that department, do they have what it takes to meet with the standard of your expectation? Because I believe I'm talking to influencers in this place. Now, you are trying to make a statement. So who is handling that plan? Who is the person identifying your vendors? Who is the person ensuring that the vendors do the right thing? Because we do events from beginning to end, you don't get to rest. It's not because it's a one-day event. In fact, it's not even it's a 2-hour event. But that 2-hour event has to be an experience of a lifetime. How do you make that 2-hour the experience of a lifetime? Now, marketing the event, coordinating the technical aspects of the event life and stuff like that. I think I'll move to the next slide. I tried to pick this up one by one. Now, I talked about a very important person or personage is a person who is accorded special privileges due to their high social status, influence, or importance. So, in your mind, do you understand what high social status means? It's not the dictionary definition of it. Do you understand what a person of influence means? Person of influence actually means someone who has spent time to develop himself in a particular area. It could be in sports, it could be in governance, it could be in leadership, it could be in business, or whatever it could be a family man, it could be a father, it could be a village chief who has distinguished himself in leadership at home. It's important because it is the person that is defining you that has accorded you that VIP respect. While a certain man is accorded a VIP respect, another set of people don't accord him that VIP respect. But so long as your client or you as the leader of your organization is going to host or organize an event that will bring VIPs from different places, it's important that you define it appropriately. What is this man to me? What is this woman to me? What is he to the audience? What image am I trying to project to the audience? It's very important. The fact that he's a governor does not really matter. What matters is how do you value him to the point that you want to present him as an honorable person to the people. Governors still have people stone them. To those people, they are not VIPs. Leaders of banks, financial institutions, they still have people who are annoying to them, but then they still are respected among a certain set of people. So when you're organizing a VIP event, ensure too that that definition is done and everybody that is supposed to participate in that event recognizes, even if they don't know before, they recognize the fact that this guy is a VIP. And it starts from even your invitation. How do you present your invitation? How do you invite people to the event? For instance, you're doing a government event and you want 100 people to participate in that event, special event. How can you, as a person, invite others? What medium are you using to invite them? If you're using an invitation card, how well printed? How is the graphics of that card? How is it well presented? When I was doing that same book, I spent 800,000. I printed a very beautiful card. I printed it in Lagos. And I shared it. I remember one of my guests that came. She came actually, and she pledged 50,000. She was part of the people that gave us that 100,000. The day she got my invitation card, she gave me 10,000 naira. She said, this card is very beautiful. And I'm sure she may have come because looking at the quality of that card, she expected that other VIPs would be around. Unfortunately, they didn't come. But the important thing is that I made a statement by the card I printed, and she gave me a gift ahead of time. And that gift became my first fruit, as a matter of fact. Okay. I think I've tried to mention this when I said, is there anything like a VIP event? And that's your question, and you have to answer that. Like I said, life is an onion. You peel it year by year, and sometimes you cry. This VIP event we're talking about, can it turn to a very successful event or turn to something that we regret? It starts from the planning, it starts from the beginning, it starts from your definition. I spent quite some time trying to talk about how you define this and that. Defining your success vision. What does success mean to you? Is it about the money you make out of the event? Is it the fame you get or the satisfaction of the client and all attendees? Sometimes we want to do an event. For instance, you are in charge of a government event, for instance. Your interest may be for people to come. Your interest must be, let us go and hire a hall or pay for a hall and get decorators and they decorate it and the governor or whoever comes to that place and the addresses are read and everybody goes home. That's actually what we experience in the life of some of our events. But we're beginning to realize that even as an event organizer, you should see to what even happens after the event. Your pre-event preparation, your proper event management, and your post-event, evaluations, analysis, feedbacks, including feedback from the participants, not now being on the side of the government or the owner of the event, being on the side of the event planner itself. Sir, you attended this event that is organized by government. And please let me remind you, government can have an event while there's an event organizer. And for the purpose of this, of standardizing what we do in terms of event, I will make a suggestion here. Assuming the Ministry of Health, for instance, wants to do an event. Yes, it's a Ministry of Health event. Can Ministry of Health decide to bring in an event organizer to help them successfully organize that event? In this case, Ministry of Health is the client, they are the owner of the event. The event organizer is like an advisor or an external person helping them to professionally make suggestions, ideas, because the event organizer is out there on the street, meeting with vendors, doing businesses here and there, seeing other events, understanding what excellence means. The person in the Ministry, for instance, of Health, I'm using health as an example, may not totally or fully appreciate what excellence means in an event. It may just be have a hall. No, if it's an event that involves content development, for instance, you're doing a draft, a policy, whatever, or a draft on a particular policy, and you require to have people come and bring feedback. So you're doing an event for 2 days. That will require, beyond collecting those, coming together, having breakfast, having lunch on time, what happens with the outcomes of this project? What is the role of the event organizer? In this case, these people who are participating, what is your role to ensure that the success in material terms, in funding terms, in successful terms, in terms of content is achieved? And above all, in terms of experience, would people want to attend an event organized by Ministry of Health next time? Because the last one was very insightful, it was very entertaining, it was educating, it was a networking platform, it was a transaction ground, because if I come to an event and I meet the right people, it becomes a transaction ground for me because I've networked and I've linked with the right people, what that means is I should be able to do business with those people that I met, or even create a relationship that can lead to, certain things that are successful. Defining your success model is the first critical step before venturing into any event. This is very important. For me, this is the beginning and end of this discussion. If you have the right success vision, that means that I want to succeed. I want to succeed. Like I said before, I've done events that failed, and I've done events that succeeded. After we failed, we are now succeeding. We can't fail again because we have gotten to the point where we have, one, the right vendors, the right relationships, the right knowledge and application and understanding of what we are expected to do. What is your all-time priority? I've mentioned this kind of before. It's a nightmare to be a host of an event for 300 people and only 30 people attend. It's like watching a sea of empty chairs. Usually this is not the case for government events, because government events, you have a lot of people come because of certain, maybe mobilization from the local government or from the state government or wherever it is. That's important. But that does not always define that. For the women in the Medical Association, Medical Women Association, you have your members already. So it's easy for you to say, want to host an event in Delta and all your members will come. Even when your members come, do they have experience? Do they have a different kind of experience? Is it the same thing? What you guys did last year or last 2 years in your convention, is it likely what you're going to repeat this year or next year? So the most important thing in this case is, how do I, as the leader of Medical Women Association or the leader of Ministry of Industry and Mines, whatever it is, how do I create a new different experience for these people? So it's important you begin to say, what is the theme of this event? What can we build around this event? What new things that is in line with your team in terms of pictures, in terms of persons, in terms of personnel, in terms of vendors, in terms of the level of experience we want to create? What benefits will the attendees expect from the event? Yes, usually we can say in this year's maybe medical forum or whatever it is, we're going to visit some people in Taraba State. We're going to donate materials to them. Yes. Well, have we been doing that for the past 3 or 4 years or 10 years? Most likely, what different thing can we do to make this one different? When we started our event for the hotel industry, we moved it to Owerri, we moved it to Abuja. I hold in Abuja now. We weren't doing dinner before. We introduced dinner. We introduced, what we call food and beverage arcade. In fact, it was that introduction of the food and beverage arcade to the Abuja program alone earned us a sponsorship of over 1 million. Because we brought it in and Budweiser captured it. So we asked ourselves, what will attract people to our events? Even as a medical organization, even as a government organization, what will attract people to you? What will attract people to that event you're organizing? This VIP, what will make this VIP man feel that this event is different from the last one he attended? Is it dancing? I mean, I'm sure if you're a governor in the state, you'd have seen all kinds of dances, because at each event, they bring all manner of dances. Can there be a difference to the style? Can there be a difference to the approach we use in providing the dances that come, so that it will appeal to the person? And most times we feel that this event, if we like this DJ or we like this MC, it will appeal to the VIP. That's a big mistake. That's a big mistake. So it's beyond what we like, or who is the guy that is reigning, who is the guy that, the influencer. It's about, does this VIP connect to this influencer? In my presentations, I've learned something. I usually use pictures. So most times I am afraid of the picture I will use depending on the audience I want to approach. I've had a presentation at some point where I was talking to doing a presentation, and the picture I used, beautiful picture, nice message, but the VIP that was there misunderstood it. So that's a challenge. It's a big challenge. So it's important to understand who your VIP is. Finally, I talked about here, what is the client expectation? That your client, what is he expecting? Is it financial? Is it institutional partnership or relationship? Is he trying to use that event to create a relationship with, let's say, foreign embassies, diplomatic missions? Or is he trying to communicate something to a certain set of people? You must know what he wants. You must know what you expect. You want that VIP. For you to bring that VIP, there is something you really want him to see in that your event and possibly make a commitment to? Is it the reach that you want to get to? Now, how do you get the right people on the seats, to those seats? I talked about having an event of 200 people. I ended up having 50 or less people in that place. I could not get the right people on those seats. After that event, I sat and asked myself, how do I get the right people? So this time around, I spent time. In fact, I personally, my team are on other things, but I personally spent time to make sure I get the right people on the seats, not get the crowd to come there. No, there is the right crowd. So I make sure I personalize the marketing to get the right crowd to sit down on those seats. Now, I want you to look at this. You can have this, you can snap this or save this because this is like critical. I talked about, I'm going to take it, I'm not going to take it serially or just talk from here. I talked about understanding your VIP. There's something we do. We do a research on our VIP. Let me take you to this as a, okay, let me take it from here because of time. I talked about research on VIP. Who is your VIP? You have to sit down and research on him. Let's say, for instance, your VIP is Sir Amado Bello. I don't know why I'm using that word, that name. Who is Amado Bello? Where is he from? What does he like? What colors does he like? What kind of room does he stay? Don't go to, let's say, Best Western and pay for room because you feel like. Something happened recently. The Chief of Army Staff came to Owerri, Imo State. He needed the people, the logistic people in government, the protocol people, were put him in Protea. And Protea by Marriott, was supposed to be the best. But by the time the team came there, they said, no, he can't stay here. The guys were shocked. This is about the best, and no, but he can't stay here. They said there's no other hotel. The guy said, don't worry, I'm coming back. He drove out of the place and went around the town, found a hotel called Oxygen. And in 1 hour, he came back, said, Chief of Defense Staff is moving to Oxygen, Chief of Army Staff. And that's how the guy moved to Oxygen. And I mean, because everybody has his preferences. So you need to understand what are the preferences of your VIP. If you don't understand the preferences of your VIP, you will be doing, or you will be. Becky, can you please, Becky, please mute your phone. Or okay, so because the high point of this VIP hosting is that VIP. So what are his preferences? What kind of hotel does he stay? Has he come to that city before? Has he stayed in a hotel? Why did he stay in that hotel? What kind of food does he like? Where does he eat? That food, will you prepare it yourself or get a special chef to prepare it? Or do you get a hotel to prepare it? You can put a guest, a special guest, a VIP in a hotel without the hotel providing his meals. You must understand that. Because the moment you understand what he requires and you understand that the chef in that hotel cannot prepare it, don't just put your VIP in a hotel and expect the hotel to know what to do. No, they may not know what to do. You can go as much as asking the hotel, can you prepare this kind of meals? What spices are you going to use? Because some people have health conditions. Most VIPs too, not all, have health conditions. So there are certain meals they don't eat. So ensuring that your VIP gets the right attention and meal is the biggest win in every event. Not even just the number of people that attended that event. Those personalized things, I call it personal branding here. Personal branding is key. How are you ensuring that that event has a personal touch that reflects that man, that reflects the person? We used to do the event I did in Abuja last. I had a white guy come. His name is Trevor Ward. He stays in Turkey. He's the biggest hotel consultant in Africa. He came, we brought him to Abuja, and we went and rebranded his room with his pictures. We had his throw pillow. We bought throw pillows, and we branded those throw pillows with his faces. Because I know he's a well-traveled man. He's not a Nigerian. He travels the whole world. So what are we going to do to make this man happy? I knew it was not going to be the hotel. I knew it wasn't going to be the food. He doesn't even eat. He just drinks a bottle of beer. So I didn't know what to. So finally, we thought we could brand his face. We did the branding of his face. We did a roll-up banner and put in his room. We put welcome notes, and we talked about his wife and his children. We put pictures of his wife, his children. We Googled all this. We got it from his friends. And when he came into that room, he was so amazed. He was just amazed. Let me tell you what he did. When we finished the event, he called me and said, look, buy me a bottle of beer and pay for that beer. Then I will pay for my accommodation. That's what he told me. I couldn't believe it because we already had paid. He said, I will refund that fund. Why? Because we did something that appealed to him. So it's important that if you're dealing with a VIP, personalize it, no matter how many they are. Don't just give them general gifts. Personalize their gifts. It's very, very important. Space branding, I mentioned it now. Space brand the places where they would be. Is it the hall? Can you brand the hall with some elements of the personality that you're bringing as a VIP? Can you brand it? We don't just do that for only politicians. We can do that for other people that come for invest. And for you to achieve this, you need to have the right graphic artist. Most times you see a beautiful event with a poor graphic. Why? Because the people planning events will not spend money to talk to graphic artists to help them to bring out the image they're trying to convey. These are very, very important to achieve. So you may not have, the graphic artist in-house, even if the person that you know is not very good. Why don't you talk to someone? Talk to a neighbor, talk to a friend, talk to someone that has done events before. They can help you to link you up to the right kind of VIPs. Now, do you have a constant review of your planning and your of constant planning and review? Don't forget, money is important. You can't get a good graphic artist without paying him. You can't get a good vendor without paying him. So it's important. A good person, you can't get a good branding without spending the right kind of money. So your budget is key. Your budget is key. In hosting this VIP, most times we focus on the hall and the food. But I've mentioned other elements that are even personalized elements. The VIPs have been to many halls. So your hall may even not be the best hall, but he's coming there to honor you. So you have to ensure that you have the right budget. That budget will help you to achieve all the milestones.
See you now. I told you I would do it. I don't even know what I told you. You know yet.
Okay. Look at number 6 here. So back to 5, constant planning. Every day, if you have an event, now thank God we have a Zoom platform, we have the WhatsApp platform or the Facebook or Telegram where we can discuss. Even if you don't get to meet physically every week, before that event, ensure there is an update on what is happening to the team or with the team every day or every other day, especially when the event is getting close. And don't wait for the event to be too close before you start your planning and your review. You must review your plans. You must review your budget. You must review your vendors. Are the vendors right? That you use the maker or the person that supplies materials for decoration last year does not mean the guy is still in top gear this year. You must be sure you go physically to review the vendor's supplies. You must ensure. Don't trust someone so much. Please do that last minute review of what they're bringing to your venue. And first of all, you must also know what you want to be brought to the venue. Is the right personnel or team involved? This is the emphatic part of it. You can't successfully host any event, not to talk of a VIP event, without the right team. Does your team understand honor? That's what honor does not mean you lie down on the floor to greet somebody. Honor does not mean you say, bros, I hate you. No. Honor means excellence. Do you appreciate the excellence that needs to go in towards receiving this guest that is coming? Do you understand the quality of that person? Do you understand? Have you defined him? Does your team know who the right definition is? Do you know his name? Do they even know his name? Most times we'll have programs that even the team, the people that are going to work, the ushers, those who are going to work closely with the VIP, they don't even know the name of the VIP. Just see him. Okay, welcome. Do we have the right etiquette in communication? What have you taught your team? It's important that the particular team that is going to be directly involved with that guest must have a special training session on customer relations. I call it customer relations, guest relations, basically. There should be a session on how to protocol, beyond protocol, communication, and relations, public relations. I'm not talking about loyalty or propaganda or eye service. No, talking about professional service that comes with a touch of excellence is your team. Because as a leader, you have spent money, you have spent everything, you have spent your image is at stake. The people working with you can mess it up. And in mentioning this team too, let me use the government setting as an example. Sometimes when you set up a team in government to deliver a particular, not even in government, in a committee, let me use the word committee, not government. It can be a committee for Medical Women Association, can be a committee for women in hospitality or for women in Nigeria, whatever the name is. If the team does not have the integrity, if the team does not have the professionalism or the ability to relate, they will fail. Because I've found that most times the team are involved in what they will gain themselves. So your team must be selfless. Your team must be, that's why big organizations prefer to use private sector people. Your team must be selfless, because when you have conflict of interest, there's a problem. That conflict of interest comes in. Now me go bring the person who go do decoration. Now me go bring caterer. Now me, okay, you don't bring caterer. Maybe this person bring person, we go bring transport. And in all those things, we all have our personal interest, either the commission that is coming to us or what we are going to gain at the end of the day. My brothers, my sisters, that is wrong. We should not have that mindset. So for you to be successful, you must raise a team that is focused on the event, focused on the VIP, focused on the audience, focused on delivering all the elements that make up this particular event. Please, that's very critical. So your team must be right. Even if that person is not very expertly or does not know so much, let him be the kind of person that is willing to reach out to those who can help him to succeed. We don't know everything. We always partner. That's why partnership is good. So do not always assign to loyal staff, or what we call loyal staff or loyal vendors. I believe in assigning to, to professional people, whatever they might be. Let them come and do the job. And over time, you realize that these professional people are even cheaper. They are cheaper because they give you what you want and you don't have to regret it. Moving it forward, in events, in VIP events, while loyalty is good, professionalism is a must. Do you have the right funds? Do you have the right funds? I think I mentioned that for a minute. Please 1 minute. Now, do you have data? This is a very important element in every VIP event. Who are the people coming? Are they registered? Do you have the confirmed people? We have technology tools that we use these days. I believe that for every organization, you should have a kind of CRM or a kind of event organization, application that is free online that you can download and ensure that the people you are expecting, the vendors that are coming to attend, everybody that is involved in the system are uploaded in that particular app. Because when you understand the people that are coming, you're able to plan. Just like the Ministry of Health or Ministry of Environment will do their budget based on data they have collected. Event is also key, critical, that you must have the right kind of data. And having those kind of data will make sure that you move it forward to successfully do that. Let me return back to the other slide up here. Okay, a few things I've not picked here. I talked about you understanding the special guest, the VIP, what he's like, his likes, his dislikes, his food and drinks. In fact, this is where we have been able to be very successful, because these are very personal things. You can go as far as asking the wife of the man if he's a married person, or his husband if he's a lady who is married, what do you think goes special for this person? I mean, it's possible. Or maybe the very close aides to the influencer or to the VIP. What do you think that will touch this man? What has he not seen in the last 1 year that we can bring into this event? That's what's called VIP. I mean, of course, the venue are okay. The decoration is fine. The vehicles that are going to convert them are there. Assuming you're the one providing the vehicles, the protocol is on ground. Yes, What excellence do we bring in? That is justice. That's why it's a create appropriate and relevant brand that differentiates each of your events. So these are the key elements that will make sure that you successfully do that. And I mentioned that don't forget to personalize some of the brand materials. I mentioned that when I was talking. Delegate as appropriate. This is where I see failure happen a lot of times. It's happened to me. So now we delegate appropriately. We even delegate professionals, what I call loose partnerships. I'm a media person, but I've now learned that when I'm doing my own event, I delegate the media aspect to a vendor and I give them targets. And because I understand media, I know what I expect from them. You must give me the pictures on time. You must give, because as you're doing that event, it will be good for you to upload your pictures onto the internet. It's good for you to upload them on the social media. So how can you upload them with just pictures you took with the camera, with the phone camera? So you need a professional videographer, a professional photographer, and that professional photographer should be able, on real time, as the event is going on, he's uploading these pictures to your social media pages. Assuming you have money to have multimedia screen in that event venue, those pictures should be going up to the screen, maybe during the time for tea break or during the time for lunch or whatever it is. Those pictures should be going up to the social media. They should be going up to the screen that is in the venue. So if I have to do that myself, I will succeed. If I take a clumsy photographer, maybe I'll go to Bros, or maybe the get camera and I'll come take. It can't work. So you see why it's important to delegate appropriately. For instance, if there is a 2-day event you're doing, by the 8 a.m. of the following morning, the video, a summary, a 2-minute summary video of what happened yesterday should have been ready. So you can imagine when the VIP walks into the hall, he's seeing his faces and the faces of the audience in the video already by 8 a.m. the following day. Meanwhile, some of us, when we do events, you get the video 2 months after. In fact, you even forget the video after the event. You don't get the pictures immediately. Meanwhile, these pictures are supposed to inspire the people. People like seeing their faces on pictures. They like seeing their faces on billboards. And that's how we like seeing our faces on screens. So when you have taken those pictures early enough, your team that you have delegated appropriately are doing their jobs. The team that is in charge of content are doing their job and doing it professionally. And that helps for focus, for determination, for diligence, and for professionalism, okay? Simplify your event monitoring and control practice. When you are doing an event, how do you monitor and control? Let's say, for instance, you're sitting beside the VIP, assuming you are the owner of the event, and you're sitting at the high table with the VIP. The question is, how do you monitor the event while on the head table? It will be difficult. You're not even supposed to be pressing your phone or calling your delegates while you are right there on the table. The only reason why you will do that is when you have inefficient people, except something very important and urgent comes up. So having the right people to ensure that you have your event monitored as before it starts and while it is going on. Imagine being an event organizer for an event where the governor has to commission a project, let's say a project in Warri Southwest. And on getting to that place, you realize that the plaque that is supposed to have been placed there is not there. And the governor is already in Warri and is actually heading to the venue of the event. And they tell you that the person coming with the plaque is coming from Onitsha. And you're running about to get that person ready. It's because of you didn't put the right event monitoring, the right data management, the right follow-up in place. So your control practice has a challenge. So it's important that ahead of that event, you ensure that all the vendors are held responsible for whatever that they do and do it well. Of course, we have to talk about the event shutdown processes. We did an event on Saturday in Imo State. It was one of our hotels that was just launched. Now, they were launching the pool session. It's called a grill it party. All the vendors came from Port Harcourt. The stage came from Port Harcourt. The light came from Port Harcourt. Every decor, the branding, everything came from Port Harcourt on Saturday morning. Yes, the event was for Saturday evening. By Saturday, 6 p.m., the whole place has been transformed like a Disneyland. The pool has been transformed with balloons. The color, the pool looks like green, red. The lights in the pool transformed instantly. I could share the video maybe much later. Now, by 8 p.m., the party started. By 2 a.m., the party ended. By 7 a.m., the whole place has been torn down, shut down. Every single event, every single vendor, every single equipment and tool has been moved out of the swimming pool. The water at that point was, being evacuated. So that's professionalism, because that pool must be used again the following Sunday for people who will come in to swim, because you're trying to generate revenue. So there must be a business mindset in every event, no matter what event, whether it's a paid event or a free event, whether it's a government event or a wedding party or a get-together or a retirement event, everyone, there must be all sense of what? Seriousness, so that the guests can enjoy themselves, have experience. Now, let me ask you a question. How many times have you been part of a burial or a wedding and you don't get to eat food? Many a times, I know, you don't get to eat food. We blame people. Meanwhile, you paid a lot of money. You paid millions of naira to the vendors or the caterers, and the foods didn't go around. Some people ate 10 plates, while some didn't eat at all. It happens every day. Every day. So long as we have been able to manage our VIP and he goes. So we shouldn't always think that the VIP is the focus. That's why I mentioned it. It's everybody, every total package. So what makes him a VIP is that he came to that place. There is order. There's control. Everybody is happy. Everybody is, having an experience, whether it's from the guest speakers or from the people that are performing artists or from the food or different kind of speeches that go on, or whatever element or aspect of the event that is taken care of. Look, I've mentioned, I put up this picture here. What I put up is the complexity of VIP event. This is actually like an exhibition. You all would know that when you're planning a seminar, a one-day seminar, is different from when you're planning a 3-day seminar. It's also different from when you're planning a 2-day exhibition. In fact, a one-day exhibition is more complex than a one-day seminar, because the exhibition have different elements, including bringing all the events, the exhibition booths. Apart from bringing in, discussing with the vendors, getting them to bring the right booths, and they will have to arrive day or days ahead of time. And then placing and putting the booth, installing the booth on, according to the floor plan and the design that you have brought out. That alone will take one whole full day or two, depending on how massive the event is. So the complexity of VIP events is actually streamlined to these 7 things I'm putting down here: the logistics, the funding, the protocol, the security, the planning, the team members, and the life. Life, I mean, is the event proper. The day he arrives, the moment he arrives, what happens when he arrives, what theme song, as when you're going to use a song to welcome him, what happens at the moment that he arrives. It's very important. That moment, that is the moment of honor, his arrival and his departure. It's so important in the event or in the life of every VIP. How is he welcomed? Yes, we always send kids to carry flower and give them. Can we change that model? Can we think of something else? I'm telling you, because I see presidents and governors, they come, we carry flower, carry one baby, give them. I mean, as significant as that is, what other things do we do? At the moment the baby gives him that flower, the next thing you see, they throw the flower by the side. You might just see somebody holding that flower later. So what is the memory that we want to leave? I mentioned security here. Every VIP is cautious of security. Yes, they come with their own security at times. What about the security of the place? In these times and seasons, we're talking about COVID-19. So what are you putting in place? You can't have a VIP, no matter your own. It's not about what you think. It's not about what you feel. It's about who that person is. That is the core element of this VIP we're talking about. You might not be so, you are someone that believes in God, that Jesus is the one that saves our life. Yes, but the VIP you're bringing may feel that, yes, there is God and I serve Jesus, but I should also do something to help myself. So that means you need to provide security that is adequate on ground. And seeing that security alone gives confidence, even though we know that how many guns do they have? How many people can they shoot? But at the same time, we need to see those uniformed people around to create law and order. And it's very, very critical. Your protocol, your personal protocol. This VIP sometimes, assuming it's a VIP that is coming from abroad, usually they don't come with more than one aide. In fact, sometimes they come alone. So as soon as they come, your protocol takes over. You see the importance of understanding who the VIP is, because if your protocol does not understand, if you just say, Amaka na my batot and I go follow him, you go help, it may not be the right thing to do. Go carry her bag. VIPs want people who don't just carry bags. They want people who pay attention to detail. They want people who look at them, they understand each other. They know when their VIP wants to leave. They understand his eye movements, his body languages. Those are critical. And we should also ensure that is. Now, what are the factors that affect VIP events? Lack of excellence. The person in charge of the event, does he understand what excellence means? What? Lack of organizational vision, mission, culture, and values. What is the vision of the organization? Do they have a culture? In Nigeria, most organizations don't have any culture. So how can you even plan an event to receive a VIP when you don't have a culture? The fact that you are a ministry or that you're a company or that you are an oil company or whatever does not mean that you have a culture. You just have a business. So defining your business culture is critical. And understanding the business culture of that organization you want to interface with is important. No ownership spirit. You that is an event organizer listening to me, is that event your event or their event? Now government say make I do. Now my manager say make I do. Is this your event? You have to own it. So whether it was given to you as a brief, whether you're being paid for it or not, because there are events that you have to handle that you're not going to be paid for. You're not going to be paid. So whether you're being paid or not, are you able to delegate are you able to deliver on that event by taking and having an ownership spirit? Are you willing to take ownership of and responsibility of any single mistake that will happen during the life of that event? The moment you take ownership of this event, I'm sure you're going to be successful. Inadequate training or poor understanding of events. I emphasize a lot on understanding the events. If you don't understand the events, the first event I talked about in 2011, I spent money, I spent time on the on the packaging of that event. I didn't spend time on the audience. I didn't spend time on the people. I didn't spend time on what I was expecting, which is even to raise funding from that particular stuff. We did not succeed. We lost full time. And of course, that was the last of it because I realized where we made our mistakes. So this time around, we focus, we understand the events, we understand the objectives, we understand the audience objectives, the expectations of the audience, and we deliver it to them. And by that, we make sure we generate the number of people that we want. And of course, we get our targets delivered. Objective, schedule, and timeline. Do we keep to time for the planning of this event and also in the delivery? Do you know that most events start late? I'm glad that today Doc was here. I mean, she was already here even before 12 noon. That's excellent for me. And that's how do you respond to time? If they say the event is 9 o'clock, are you ready for 9? I don't want to mention the state. There's a state in the Southeast when you have an event, even the person that you paid to come with DJ equipment, he will come, if the event is 9, he'll come by 9:30. That's lack of excellence. If the cameraman will come later than when you have started. I saw it as an environmental problem because they believe that time doesn't matter. So it makes me, if I'm going to do my event somewhere else, I pull my vendors from outside that state and I go there to do my event. Everybody stays in the hotel. The following morning, 6 o'clock, we're in the event venue, delivering. It's important because whether the guests come by 9 or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is, are you ready with every single aspect of that event? Is your feeding ready? Your tea breaks, your lunch, whatever it is, your snacks, whatever part or aspect of entertainment, are they ready? Are they warm? Not that you prepare meat pie the previous day and bring it to that event very cold and dry. No, you don't even care. If you go to some events called high-level events, you see how they share waterproof. They carry water nylon bag and share meat pie and just, toss it on the people. Is that the element with COVID-19? Is there any way you can go further in this period to ensure that there are some elements in the food you're serving people? Lack of team spirit, I mentioned that before. Corruption and insincerity. This is a problem we have in our events. I've seen that myself. When you have to get to a vendor and the vendor needs to increase prices, or you need to tell the vendor to increase prices for you, it begins to affect the event. Because the moment you add those monies, it affects the quality of what he brings. So, because everybody is struggling to deliver within the small budget and people are trying to get their own. So insincerity is a problem in a VIP event because VIP events are costly events. It means you have to go the extra mile. So for instance, I pay for a particular microphone for $1,000. And because the person I paid or the person, my team member, wants to make some money, he goes and looks for the one that is sold for $500. They are not the same thing. They can't deliver. He will say, after all, not be microphone. My brother, microphone is not microphone. There are microphones of 20,000 naira. There are microphones of 700,000 naira. It's when you hear the sound that matters a lot. There are DJs of 15,000 naira and there are DJs of 50,000 naira. There are DJs of 200,000 naira. It all depends on what you want to achieve. And sound is an element of a VIP event. Having the right microphone, having the right sound, making sure your microphones are clean, sanitized, and are producing the right sound, the right speakers, the right loudspeakers. Not one that has so much bass or so much treble and the hall is so confused. People want excellence in their ears. So don't destroy people's ears with the terrible sounds that you achieve through insincerity. So make sure that in any event you're doing that involves the VIP, the sound must be critical. Invest money on the sound, on the DJ that is coming. If possible, go and check where he has played before and be sure that the sound he's giving you is right. Be sure that he has at least 3 or 4 microphones, not just one microphone. Put it in your checklist. The microphones must be at least 3, minimum of 3, maximum of whatever number you want. Inadequate, inappropriate working tools. When you don't have the right kind of plates, VIPs are served with a certain kind of plates. Assuming you're doing a small party. Maybe after your seminar, your conference, your AGM, you decide to do a dinner party. What kind of cutleries, what kind of chinawares are you using? What dinner plates do you have? Do you have a full setup that has to be your dinner plates, your side plates, and your cutleries, arranged properly and professionally? These things take time. These things require professionalism, and it doesn't cost.
Very sorry, we have lost our speaker. Please be patient. I'm sure he will be joining us shortly. Thank you for your comments. We hope that some representatives of the LOC of our biennial conference are participating. National President-elect Dr. Tolori, who will be inaugurated as the third.
Good afternoon.
She's here, Dr. Tolori.
Yes, please.
Our
thank
speaker
you. And thank you very much. I'm really benefiting.
I was saying that you sent your apologies and I promised to send the recording, but you are here in person. You're welcome.
Yes. Thank you very much, my president.
Of the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria. Warming up, loading.
So you're welcome. Our host must have been affected.
Thank you very much.
Back. Mr. Diala, you're welcome back. Sorry about the interruption. I know what you are going through. So we'll just let you continue.
It could have significant consequences for the press. And fundamental freedoms. We are encouraged by the states between Twitter and government technical.
Hello.
Suspension.
Can you hear me?
You can continue. We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Somebody is talking. Somebody is in an event. Can they mute their phone? Their phones, yes. Okay, fine. Okay. I mentioned inappropriate working tools. For every organization or for every event, there must be the right tools. Is it what you're going to use to serve wine? Is it what you're going to use to the food, like I mentioned? Is it whatever you're going to use to make sure that you deliver on your assignment? You know, poor delegation, I mentioned that, or no delegation at all. Chain of command. For every event, there must be a reporting line. Who do we report to? How do we report to? Who takes care of this when this kind of challenge comes up? For instance, assuming there is power outage, who takes care of it? Don't leave it in the hand of the hotel or the venue. There must be a staff, a particular team member who is supposed to know what is happening to every technical equipment. Just for instance, I had an issue with network here, and my people here tried to resolve it. So there must be somebody around to resolve these issues. If there's nobody, then there's going to be confusion, and it's not going to be a VIP event. VIPs like being VIPs. They like being taken care of. They may not need your money, but they want that honor. And it's not honorable in an event for you to have power outages 3, 4, 5 times. That's why if you're choosing a venue, ensure they have a dedicated generator. Don't tell me that, they said they had, no, they should show you a dedicated generator. If it's possible, they should sign for you that there will not be power outage except once. And if there should be a UPS that is powering the microphones. And there should be something like, what's it called? I've forgotten, the lights, more like lights that you have on the wall. When they take power, those lights take over for a few minutes so that you can be able to achieve what you want to achieve. Now, unwilling to adopt new strategies and technologies. I mentioned about applications. Just because of the time, and maybe there are a lot of applications you can use. In the interim, you can use your Excel. Some people want to use Evite to manage their invitations and all that. So be able to adopt new technologies. For instance, people are doing big time events now with large screens. It costs a lot of money. We did an event in Abuja last year, and we spent 700,000 just for the screen alone on the wall, just for the screen. For the stage, we spent 300,000. That's 1 million on 2 items. So that's not cheap. So a lot of people, but because we're expecting VIPs, so when somebody agreed to come for that event, you want him to come next time. So instead of us using projectors, we went to use big time screens. So increase our budgets, but I can tell you the reputation, the internationalization of the project happened last year, the moment we upped our game by bringing in some items. So you can't keep playing small and expect people to appreciate what you're doing. So for you to deal with a VIP, don't think small. They don't think small themselves. Now you must adopt new strategies and technologies using bad, inefficient vendors. Don't use a vendor that will supply bad eggs to you. Don't use a vendor that will give you cold rice. No, a vendor that does not have the right equipment to warm their food, because there are equipments you should have to keep the food warm until the guest is ready. Why give contract to a vendor who does not have the right equipment because it's cheap or because he agrees, say, make una buy rice and beans, can't do it like this? No, please, if you want excellence, and I believe you people want excellence, that's what we're discussing. If you want excellence, you must spend that money, and you'll be shocked that when you have the right partnership with the right people, you will spend less because you will not have food poisoning, you will not have the food cold. And I have learned something in Nigeria. Your event is not really an event except the food is good and except the people eat well. And the moment you have good food and they eat well, everybody will appreciate the event and they will remember your VIP even days and years after. No place for God. When you don't pray as a team, I believe we have Christians are here, even if you're a Muslim. If you don't pray, there are ends you cannot meet up with. Even if you are a hardworking person, you're diligent, there are times you miss it. So why do you miss it? So ensure that you bring in God at a certain point. Say, God, please, I've done my best. Because it's like somebody that has just won Olympics. That's, for me, that's what it is. I've had events where governors came, my own event. I'm not talking about my own. So when they come, or when somebody who is so well respected come for my event, it's like, wow, that is the high point of that event. That's the high point of that event. And the moment you achieve that, forget it, you are finished with the event. Every other thing will just gradually continue to end well, and you'll be so happy with yourself. Now, I'm emphasizing on this because it's important. Thank God I'm also, this is a Medical Women Association event. Safety protocol. I work for the hospitality sector a lot. And my emphasis is your protocol, your hygiene should not be played with. In every area, especially now. Unfortunately, thank God I speak to women who are doctors. Most of the hotels you work for, or the hotels you control, or the hotels in your state are not, they don't observe any strict protocol. Even the hospitals themselves. The hospital for me is also an extension of hospitality, because if there's no service without hospitality is useless. So every hospital that is providing service without hospitality is a useless hospital. That's how I see it. My dad died in one last year, and I have challenges with them because I feel it's part of their stupidity in their own, stuff. So we must ensure that every of our events going forward, there are strict protocols in terms of distancing. For instance, in the coming days and weeks, you will begin to hear that for you to attend an event, even in Nigeria, you must show your vaccine certificate. You think it's a joke. Our people love life, so we can't keep playing it. So very soon, you see some people organizing events. Don't come to this event if you have not vaccinated yourself. Airlines, of course, try to initiate that. I'm sure. I'm in the tourism sector. I know they will do it. Very soon, you won't fly. Maybe in the next 1 year, by then, they would have been sure that at least 90% or so of Americans and the Europeans have been vaccinated. If you're coming into Europe, you must have your vaccine taken already. So you see where we're heading to. So our events should have certain protocols that are important. Social distancing. Don't do an event of 500 people in a 200 capacity hall. A 200 capacity hall should at least have at least 50% or maybe 60%, So if you need to do an event of 500, look for a hall of 1,000 people so that you can have a decent event and people will live thereafter. If you need to have temperatures taken, masks required, whatever it is, hand washing at every moment. If somebody, an audience or a member of the team leaves the hall and comes back, he must wash his hand right in front of that hall, no matter where he went to. So these are strict protocols, and you can only achieve it by training the people that will provide that services excellently. There's what they call all secure. We're trying to get an all secure for our event in December. We'll have you forward in December in a way. We're trying to get an all secure pass. That means it's like a seal that is given to you that your event is safe for people to come. It's not easy to get it, but we're working hard towards that. So that is where we should be heading to, because every VIP event should be seen as an international event. Attitude. I've learned one thing, that the failure of every event is our attitude. Both the event organizer, both the owner of the event, both the VIP himself, and the audience as well. We all have our own terrible baggage of attitudes. Attitude is a person's peculiar manner of thinking, talking, or acting, which makes it difficult or easy for others to relate well with him. If your team does not have the right attitude, they will mess up the event. For instance, imagine taking your VIP guests into a hotel, and on getting there, they have not laid the beds. Or When you get in there, you see a stain on the bed or see something that was not supposed to be there. How you handle that in front of the VIP guest is very important. Moving it forward, when the VIP comes to the hall, and for instance, somebody is already sitting on his seat by mistake. You can imagine a team member walking up to us and say, "Hey, come over here and I'll go get this chair. Why you go sit down here? Who say make you sit down here?" Oftentimes, the VIP also gets embarrassed because he doesn't want it to seem as if he's the one that is trying to, push the person out. So what your team should have done from the beginning is to ensure that the chair has a reserved sign on it, clear, so that nobody goes, even if somebody goes there, you walk to the person politely ahead of time, "Sir, please have this, Let me tell you a big mistake we made recently. We were hosting some judges. I said that. I had about 3 Court of Appeal judges there, and I had about 17 state high court judges and about 4 or 5 SANs present. I did not know, or we did not know. Incidentally, I took the MC from Delta. Well, that's like my place. So I'm not in Delta, but at least I do a lot. So I called the MC from there. So both of us didn't know that the head of the Court of Appeal of the states was the one that walked in with another head of Court of Appeal. So we introduced both of them as husband and wife. Meanwhile, this woman is not married to that man. But the list actually showed that the woman was coming with her husband. So when we saw 2 of them walking into the venue together, we assumed they were husband and wife. Meanwhile, they were 2 different people from 2 different tribes, 2 different names. It was right in the middle of the event that we realized that the man sitting on that place was not the is not the husband to the other Court of Appeal lady. It looked like it was a terrible thing. We had to find a way to manage that situation. And good thing, the man himself is a jolly good fellow, and we're able to wriggle out of it. And in fact, he defended us in the end. So your attitude of the people you're working with is very important. Someone could have come and started blaming, why did you do this now? The craze, how we do these things. So, but we're able, because it's an excellent, a platform for excellence. We had refined people there. So we didn't want to mess up our environment. Now, if you look at what I put up here, attitude is 100%. When you have the right attitude, your event will go well. Everybody will enjoy you. That's why we do trainings on attitudes. It's important training that you need to do for your staff and for your family members so that we can relate well. Core values. Just look at this. I love food. I do stuff a lot with food. So most of will be showing hospitality. This is spices. Different kinds of spices, beautiful. That's the nature of our life, variety, if we have the core values and beliefs. So our core values and beliefs that if you're handling a VIP, you should be a person of integrity. This is you or your company. You must be a person of honor because the VIP is supposed to be a person of honor. You must be a person of care. In taking care of VIP, it's about care. It's all about showing love, showing empathy, so going the extra mile, assuming you have a VIP, he's coming and he stepped on something, he's about to trip and fall. What do you do? Those are where care come in. How do you show, love to people, his protocol officers, those that come with him? It's very important, not just focusing on the VIP alone, because what makes him a VIP includes those people that are with him. Fun, you must be able to be lively. VIPs love people who are lively, not people who are overdoing themselves, smiling too much, shouting too much. You don't have to be over loud. Be a person of fun. You can be calm and fun. Crack or play the nice jokes. Don't overplay jokes. And don't play jokes to VIPs when they are not at your level. When they are not at your level, don't play that joke. Even if the person is your wife or your husband at that point. And I learned something that day at that judge's event. The women are addressed as my lord and honorable justice. This. They will not say, and her husband. Funny, I think her husband might be one minister or one prophet or one chief, but the woman is the judge. So but you must mention the woman's name first. That's about protocol. So at some point, and I think why we made a mistake with that judge, the Supreme Court judge, was that the man came in and said, he said, my Lord has to sit down first. Because I know that's how the husbands refer to their wives. So we assume that actually he was her husband. So it's important that you create that form of fun, within that environment, but don't make it look like you're cracking too much of jokes. Too much of jokes. Okay. Service, you must have the core value of service. If you don't have the life of service, that's why I encourage people to go to church all the time. And when you're in church, ensure you're a service person. Either you're a church warden, or you're a protocol, or you're a greeter, or you're a cleaner in the church, whatever it is, make sure, well, in fact, it can be a Christian mother, fine. But make sure there is something, because there are a lot of things we learn in church, because it's selfless service. Most people are not paid for their services in the church. So that is the easiest way to learn some things, protocol. I also encourage you, if you're here and you want to be an event organizer in the future, try and take a hospitality lesson. Look for time, there are a lot of lecture trainings that we do, that has to do with service eminence, that will help you to understand the core elements of service. Diligence, excellence, that mindset. I want this thing to go the extra mile. Please.
So we've lost Mr. Diala again. I know network is affecting so many people. Okay, he's back. All right, you're back. Okay, I think you're
talking about success.
Yes.
Yes. The hospitality without service is no hospitality. So any event that you have without hospitality is no hospitality. The greatest success of any event and with a hosting a VIP is the hospitality attribute of that event. So please, 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 whenever you're having an event, identify the hospitality elements. Separate them. Ask yourself, what are the elements of hospitality that we're bringing into this event? And that will make you to be very successful. Then, okay. Well, let's talk about career opportunities. For those who are in this industry, for instance,
I want to do a hospitality training in Dubai.
Hello, can we go ahead?
Yes, we can go ahead.
So, like I was trying to say, I believe some people who are here are actually people who are working for either the government or working for the women in medical association, and those who are private doctors. You could decide to, at some point in your life, go into events. Most people get into events when their daughters want to get married or something. But there are so much opportunities in this career that you can do while you're still working. Organizing corporate house events, exhibitions. I do a lot of exhibitions. It's one of the toughest kind of, because the logistics is massive. It can collapse you if you don't take time. So it's important that you say, okay, I want to build a career. So begin to develop yourself in line with that and make sure that, you pick your niche. I started with events, got into hospitality because I worked in the hotel and all that. Now I do a lot of MICE. So that is meetings, incentives, conferences, and events. That is the primary name we use to describe those who are into events and conferences and all. It's called the MICE sector. Rwanda thrives in the MICE sector. Ghana is driving hard now. If you look at the Times magazine, they released 10 top Africans. Ghana is there, Rwanda is there. And Rwanda hosts a lot of international events because it's not a big city. Kigali is just about, Rwanda as a whole is about 12 million or 13 million, which is smaller than Lagos. Now, Kigali, I don't think they have to
do genocide and kill 1 million in how many days?
Yeah, they killed 1 million. Okay, fine. So you see that Kigali, they decided to brand Kigali as a convention, center, as a MICE center. And I can remember they made a lot of money from there until COVID-19 came. If you look at the calendar of events of the Rwanda Convention Bureau, that's RCB, and then RDB, you see a lot of events, international events, most of them loading 200 people in a particular flight into the country. What are we doing in our states? What are we doing in our country to be able to identify our MICE centers? Why we decided to do the Ofo Festival in Imo and do our ITEF Hotel Conference in Abuja is to expand our MICE reach and create MICE centers for our own events. So you can actually begin to think of the big time events you want to do either for your association or for other associations, because if you successfully host your own association, you can also host other associations and other events. Now, I think I am going to round up here briefly. I want to thank Doctor for given me this opportunity. I've always, this is what I do, man. This is my life, actually. I've always done this. And I remember when I met her, was after my youth service, when I used to sit down in a cafe. I didn't have an office then in Grant to do a lot of work. And from there, I kept touch, and God has helped us to move this thing to help other people and to position ourselves in this sector of the Nigerian and the international economy. So I appreciate her for allowing me to talk to you people. I wish this was a physical thing. When it was physical, there are a lot more things, videos I can share, even our own events. If I show you our own events, you'll be very impressed with what we have done. So we have the testimony and we have the materials to show for that. For those of you who are willing to go into this sector, this is what you will get. This is what I'm promising you. This is what I'm offering you. You will have beautiful houses. You have the most beautiful cars that even the work you're doing cannot give you. You have beautiful children, which are the fruits of your labor. So everything, anything you desire is what you can have. God bless you all and say thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We cannot thank you enough. I know we overshot our time by 40 minutes, but you can agree with me that it was worth it. I do not know if we have any questions, quick questions. Mostly everybody's just asking for the slides. You get the slides on the platforms. And want to appreciate our guest speaker, Mr. Diala. I knew you had substance, but this is more than, you exceeded my expectation. Thank you so much, sir. So if there are no questions, we are going to wrap up because we have other activities for the day. And I know that with the busy schedule of Mr. Diala, he wants to move on. But let me just give an opportunity. Oh, Auntie Bernadette Korubo, her hand is up. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I want to appreciate you for bringing the speaker, and I also appreciate the resource person for a marvelous job. Please, I would like to have a copy of his book on climate change. I'm presently doing some work on climate change. I think it will help me. Thank you.
Mr. Diala, how do we get the book on climate change? He's jumped out again. Oh dear. All right, I'm in touch with him, and okay. I'm going to get it and send it to you, ma.
Okay, dear. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
National President-elect Dr. Tolorin.
Thank you very much, my president. Good afternoon, everybody, particularly a resource person. On behalf of Oyo LOC and everybody around here, we'd like to say a big thank you for this share of knowledge. We know that knowledge is power, and with this information, we hope to do better. Now, also, we'd like to know some of his charges. Maybe he will private charge the national president to have an idea.
Yes, we'll do that. All right. So without further ado, we are actually scheduled to pay an advocacy visit to the Chief Judge of Delta State, Justice Teresa Diai. So we're actually in the High Court waiting to be called. So we have to leave now. And it's good to see you every time. Thank you all for joining us and have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thank you.